Hello and welcome back to Chicken Bros. My name is David Heath.
Uh, I don't want to do this.
See, now I kind of feel bad.
Episode 8 sucked. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah. Again, I recognize this is clearly not the best of the entire saga. It's not even in my top 5 favorites, but still didn't hate it. Not as much as I did episode 2.
Episode 2 didn't kill off our favorite character, now did it?
I don't remember. I don't know if anyone died in episode 2, did they? Oh, Django died.
Weasel did.
Django died.
Jango Fett did.
But anyway, yeah, episode 8. Sequel
Bunch of Jedi did, but they were all unnamed.
Yeah, episode 8, The Last Jedi, sequel to The Force Awakens, picks up literally right where it left off.
Yeah. Rey holds up the lightsaber, he looks at it for a second, and he tosses it away.
Right, and
I bet you can, like, if you listen very closely, you can hear Anakin's lightsaber. Hey!
you can hear Anakin say that.
Yeah.
Boy,
Hey!
I made that lightsaber.
Hey, I worked hard on that. No, Anakin. Oh, I worked hard on that.
There you go.
Another one.
You know, when I first saw this movie, I just saw that as that's because he doesn't want to do any of this. But now I'm seeing it as like, oh, it's just an attempt at humor, which kind of backfired, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then
so
like Rey's
he's
there.
like, Muscle Skywalker, you have to train me. No, train me. No, train me. No.
Yeah, and he has to learn that Han died through Chewie. It's like, oh, that's not a good thing to hear. And they cut a scene from this movie that I wish they'd kept.
Yeah, his reaction, he has this anguished look on his face because his buddy, his best friend, just died.
He's crying in that scene, man. Why didn't they keep that? And while this is happening, the Resistance is trying to run away from the First Order. This is one of those things that they added in this new trilogy that I don't really understand and they didn't explain. The First Order is able to track them through light speed. That shouldn't be possible.
Yeah, this trilogy took liberties that they didn't need to take.
Right. And
we'll get to
when they figure that out, they're low on fuel, so if they jump again, they're just going to track them again, and then they're toast.
Yeah, so they're trying to figure out, how are we going to do this?
How are we going to get away? And Kylo comes down in his TIE fighter, senses his mother's presence, and comes this close to blasting her away, but doesn't. But then these other stormtroopers and TIE fighters come and do it. Blast the hull breach out into space.
This scene, like, I thought it was cool because Leia used the Force, but it was so bull. Okay, come on. Okay, David, you have to admit, this was too much. This is just too much.
What, her using the Force to get back to the ship?
Yeah, from the emptiness of space. Jedi aren't immortal beings. They need oxygen.
Okay, so you point out the extended lore for a second, so now I'm going to do it. In the extended lore, when Anakin burned in the lava in Mustafar, he created a force bubble to protect himself until the Emperor found him.
Okay, that I didn't know. So yes. Okay,
so this isn't confirmed. I don't.
Literally Supermaning to.
But here's what I'm saying, and I don't know this for a fact because it's never confirmed. But I think that's what she did. She created a force bubble to protect herself from losing oxygen or possibly freezing up in the middle of space.
Okay, but then she flew like Superman.
She guided herself back to the ship with the Force. The Force can exist in space.
Okay, yes, but I don't think...
That's how Luke shot the thing down the tube of the Death Star.
True, but I don't think you can make a person fly. I've never seen that happen.
It's not her. It's not her that's flying. It's the space bubble force bubble that's guiding her back. And then once they got her in, she just let it go. That's why I think that's partially why she passed out because it took a lot of Force energy.
Probably.
And we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, Leia's incapacitated at the moment, not dead, but just unconscious.
Yep.
Finn, with the little device guiding Rey back to the Resistance, decides to skip out. You're right, Noah. He is a complete wimp.
Loser.
Meets
Rose, whose sister died.
Yeah, her sister died in a bombing raid that went completely wrong, totally Poe's fault.
And she's like fangirling, like, oh wow, you're Finn, you're awesome.
Yeah, why are you fangirling? Did you miss the story about Rey, the actual Jedi?
Yeah.
or force sensitive at this point. I don't know. But
Yeah.
then
Well,
she sees him trying to escape and then tasers his ass.
Thank you, Rose.
And then, he explains the situation like they're tracking us through light speed. We're going to burn out our fuel and we're going to die. Until him, her, and Poe come up with this idea of trying to find a code breaker to get inside the First Order ship, disable their tracking to let the Resistance get away.
So then they call Maz, and hey, Maz knows somebody. And she's like, I can't help you, but I know somebody.
Yeah, it's on a different planet. You got to go find him and bring him back and do it. It's like, okay.
Okay. Another thing I don't like about this trilogy: the new planets suck.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but most of them suck.
Canto Bite sucks.
I hate Canto. A gambling planet, really? I mean, Bespin has good gambling scenes. They could have gone to Bespin.
Yeah, why couldn't they just go to Bespin?
They could have. What?
Why couldn't they just gone to Bespin?
Yeah, they could have. That could have tied into Maz Kanata and like how she found
Lando,
the lightsaber.
Maybe.
We'll get to Lando later.
But so they're going to this planet to find a code breaker. While this is going on, Rey tries to convince Luke to teach her the ways of the Jedi, and he's saying no.
And she's like, "Why?" And she goes, "Because the Jedi end. It was because of a Jedi that Darth Sidious rose to power, and also it was because of a Jedi that created Darth Vader." And then she fires back with, "And it was a Jedi who brought him back to the light."
Yeah, and he's like, "And I became a legend, Luke Skywalker." It's because, and I get what he's trying to say is that delusion of grandeur that made me think I could train my nephew. But at the same time, okay, so in the movie, there's this story told about how Ben Solo fell to the dark side. Is that Luke says it this way. He says, "I sensed it in his training, and when I went to confront him, he turned on me and destroyed my temple and slaughtered half my students." When Rey and Ben Solo are somehow connected through the Force, which you learn about later is Snoke messing with him.
Yep.
And when she confronts him about it, he's like, "Yeah, Luke told me what happened." And he's like, No, here's what happened. He came into my hut with his lightsaber lit, looking for a fight, and I defended myself. And as soon as I heard both sides, I'm like, the reality is somewhere in the middle, isn't it? And it is.
Yep.
It's like
Obi-Wan says, the truths we cling to depend greatly on our points of view.
That's very true. And what the actual truth here is that Luke sensed darkness in him, and I guess out of instinct thought he could stop it and struck his lightsaber.
Then he's like, "Oh crap, what am I doing?"
That's one of those things that I have a hard time. I was like, am I really meant to believe that Luke Skywalker thought for a second that killing his nephew was the best decision? He didn't think to talk to Leia about it first, or even Han. I was like, okay, that's one of the weak points. But
this movie was the weak point of the trilogy because the other two were done by J.J. Abrams. This one was done by Rian Johnson.
And then Rey has this idea in her head that if she goes to Ben Solo, she can help him turn. Which I'll admit, the idea of it is very much of a Jedi. Is you can bring someone from the darkness back to the light. I get that, but
I mean, Luke did to his father,
right? But he's shown no conflict. Ben Solo, he's completely embraced the darkness.
Yep.
So Rey's being a bit hasty,
just like Luke in Episode 5.
Wow, are you making a comparison to Episode 5 with this movie? I thought you hated this movie.
I do, but I also don't like Episode 5 that much either.
Well, okay.
And I like it loads more than I like this trilogy, but I still don't like it very much.
So yeah, Rey goes to Kylo to try to help him turn to the dark side, and then she meets Snoke, who's like, "You foolish child, it was I that bridged your minds.
I'm tall and I wear a yellow bathrobe. I'm not a Sith.
I look like the Ancient One on steroids."
I do. No, I'm the Ancient One on smack. Have you seen my face?
And when Finn and Rose get, not the code breaker they were looking for, but a code breaker nonetheless, who kind of sounds like Roger Rabbit.
I hate him.
Crackhead.
Yeah.
They get inside the ship and they come real close and they don't do it. They don't make it.
And then he betrays them. Like, yeah, they paid me more.
Yeah, because fuck everything, right? And then while the Resistance is trying to get away on transports because they won't sense the cloaking, which I completely forgot to mention that one character who played by Laura Dern.
Mm-hmm. Who you think is a bitch, but at the end...
She acts like one.
She does act like one,
She opens conflict for Poe with, absolutely no reason.
Yep.
But then she gets the Resistance away on transports, so... But then they start shooting at them.